Let me start with that question for Chris Mannix, who joins us from New York City. Now, Chris working for The Vertical on Yahoo Sports. First of all, congratulations on the move there, Chris, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. I hope you'll still call from time to time.
Once a year, I'll give you a call.
That's nice. Maybe an email or a text or, Ricky Rubio, something.
Yeah, or a Ricky Rubio box score.
Be nice. I mean, I'm sure I'll send them to you whenever he has an
Oh, I know that. I get these random messages from Mannix, and it'll be a box score, and I'll go, oh, what did Ricky Rubio do this time? All right, would you bet a week's pay Golden State wins the title or doesn't win the title? I get everybody else, Golden State or the field.
Yeah, I'd take Golden State over the field at this point because to me, based on the evidence we have right now, the field is just San Antonio. I think Cleveland, and we'll talk about them, but the condition they're in, I think Golden State is a head better than them. I don't overly react to the San Antonio loss. I thought the Spurs, beyond just Duncan being out, were not themselves. That was as bad a game defensively as I've seen Kawhi Leonard play in a while. He was out of position several times. I don't think that's going to happen the next time these two teams meet. So I think San Antonio is still a threat, but if I had to pick one or the other, I'm taking Golden State over the rest of the field.
Well, what do you make of that last night, that they blow them out by 30? And I know Duncan's not there and Popovich doesn't really care about the regular season, but does it mean something?
I think it's a confidence boost for Golden State, but two things you have to remember. Number one, I'm watching that game, and there's a small conspiracy theorist part of me that thinks that Pop is tanking this game. Like that all these mind games that Pop likes to play that he never really acknowledges, that this could be one of them. The second thing is, again, the lack of overreacting. This is the first of, I believe, 4 meetings between these teams in the regular season. So there's ample time for San Antonio to regroup. And this team, they adjust as well as any team in basketball. So it wouldn't surprise me at all in early March to see San Antonio do the exact same thing to Golden State. So, yeah, it's a great win for the Warriors, pushes them one game closer to maybe breaking that Bulls record. But I don't think it's a true sign of what's absolutely going to come in the postseason.
Update on Blake Griffin. How long is he going to be out?
He's out for at least a few weeks, and it's a weird injury that's yet to be explained. He already had the quad problem, and they were playing pretty well without him, albeit against lesser competition. But now it's a broken hand that at this point has not quite been explained away. We're always kind of fascinated, Dan, with broken hands. We always think guys get into a fight. Remember Kevin Love? We thought he got into a fight. Rajon Rondo, we thought he punched somebody. So it still remains to be seen what happened with that Blake Griffin hand injury.
Who fired David Blatt?
LeBron fired him. I mean, I think it's pretty transparent. And David Griffin, great guy, smart guy, did his best to make it believe that he's running the show autonomously. But this was a LeBron decision. Dan, I talked to 2 players inside the Cavaliers locker room, and I can tell you they weren't enamored with David Blatt. One of them told me, said, look, if we don't win a championship, nobody's going to say, well, we would have if David Blatt were here. But they also didn't have this negative reaction to him the way it was out there over the last couple of days. I think this was a pretty cut and dry case of LeBron James wanted to play for Ty Lue, for an ex-player, and that's exactly what happened.
Is Tyronn Lue the long-term solution here? Because as it's being presented to me, and I'm supposed to consume it this way, the GM of the Cavs made this decision without conferring with LeBron, but LeBron can opt out after this season, and they didn't factor that in whatsoever, right?
He did make the decision without conferring. I mean, look, did he make the decision that day without conferring with LeBron? Probably, but you don't ask questions to something you already know the answer to. And it was pretty evident that LeBron James wanted David Blatt elsewhere and wanted Ty Lue to be the coach. Now, the question is, Ty Lue's got a good reputation around the league, even though he's being billed as this guy that's paid his dues for 45 years when he's really in his mid-30s. He's paid his dues, but can he get this team to play the way he wants them to play? Now, he's been aggressive already in calling out LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love by name about their conditioning. He wants to play fast. But this team, as of a couple of days ago, they were 28th in the NBA in pace. They're not a team that plays fast. They weren't a team that played fast last year. So Ty Lue is going to try to change the culture almost completely before the end of the season. And you can get through the Eastern Conference. I mean, the Eastern Conference is a joke in terms of real contenders. But can you beat Golden State or San Antonio in the finals with this short period of time? I don't think so. The other thing, too, Dan, is they're trying to make changes there. I mean, they're on the market right now looking for defensive-minded 2-3 men who can shore up that perimeter defense. They know already right now that they can't play consistently with two bigs. Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, they have a hard time playing together, much less with Mozgov. You're going to see a lot of lineups, I think, in the second half of the season with LeBron James playing center. That's how they want to play, where they can get up and down.
Should they trade Kevin Love?
It depends on what you can get for him. I mean, it's always, would you do Love for Wiggins over again? I'm sure Cleveland right now would, but you're not going to get dollar for dollar value for a player like Kevin Love. You're not going to get an Andrew Wiggins type talent for Kevin Love. The best you're going to get are a couple of role players, and at this point, it's just not worth dealing a player with Kevin Love's talent.
With Steve Kerr back, how is Luke Walton's stock as an NBA coach?
It's high, and look, there's the upper tier of available coaches, and I think Tom Thibodeau kind of occupies that by himself. Maybe Jeff Van Gundy is right there with him, but when you're talking now the second tier of potentially available head coaches, I think Luke Walton has catapulted himself onto that list. He was not, Dan, and Van Scouts have told me, he was not just a caretaker. He implemented little wrinkles, little changes with this team that Steve Kerr has already acknowledged that he's going to use going forward. He kept his composure in difficult situations at times with this team. He did a phenomenal job to the point where I think we've reached the point of the season. Even though Steve Kerr's back, I think we played enough games to at least acknowledge Luke Walton in the Coach of the Year vote. Now, he probably won't win it, but should he get one of the top 3 or 4 spots in the Coach of the Year ballot, I think he should. I'm a voter, and I'll give him strong consideration for those spots.
Does he get those victories? Did the NBA reverse course on that and say that he is responsible for those victories?
No, because it's the NBA, and they're still willing to cut their nose off to spite their face. They've made a decision, and they're going to stick with it. That's just what the NBA does. I think it's more ridiculous, Dan, frankly, that they're going to let Ty Lue coach the All-Star game. I think that's insane.
I know.
Why wouldn't you just hand it off to Dwayne Casey, a coach who's done a terrific job with Toronto, who would welcome that opportunity, instead of giving it to Ty Lue, who's going to coach, 7 games before the All-Star break, and will have a lot of negative stories written around that time because he's coaching that team. I think that's a mistake by the NBA.
Before I let you go, Kevin Durant labeling Kristaps Porzingis the unicorn. Do you think the nickname sticks? And do you like the nickname?
I guess Knicks fans got to love that because Durant's a free agent, and any sleight of hand point in the direction of them has got to feel good. I've watched this guy a dozen times, Dan, live. He's the real deal. He is going to change the center position in the same way Dirk Nowitzki changed power forwards, because he is going to be a 5, probably starting next year. And when you've got a 7-3-5 man that can block shots, run the floor, and shoot the 3 the way he's going to be able to, it is going to be fun to watch over the next 10 years.
If you redrafted right now,
Towns by a nose, but Porzingis definitely second.
Wow. Think the Lakers
very close.
Do you think the Lakers are looking at D'Angelo Russell and saying we need a mulligan?
They have to be, and I'm not overly down on Russell. I think I said this to you when the draft happened. D'Angelo Russell, you're playing the long game with. He wasn't a point guard full time in high school. He wasn't a point guard full time in college. It takes a long time to learn this position. And I said this to you: this guy's got the best passing instinct of any college player I've ever seen. He's got vision in ways that guys like Jason Kidd had vision when he was at Cal. But he's going to take some time to really develop. But all that being said, if the Lakers had a chance to take Porzingis, knowing what they know now, I got to believe they would have done it.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, Dan.
That's Chris Mannix, now working with Yahoo Sports, and the site is called The Vertical that he's working on.